Yes, sir.
Okay. Little louder, all right? Little louder than that, cause I'm hard of hearing. State your name, please.
Brian Harshman.
And will you spell your last name for me, please?
Harshman.
And how are you employed?
I'm employed with the Indiana State Police.
And how many years have you been employed with the Indiana State Police?
I was hired in July of 1994, and I was appointed in December 4th, 1994, so 30 years.
Were you in law enforcement prior to being employed by the Indiana State Police?
I was not.
When you were hired on by the Indiana State Police, did you go through any kind of special schooling or training to become an Indiana State Police trooper?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
When you're hired, you go through the Indiana State Police Academy, which is in Plainfield, Indiana. Again, it went from July to December of 1994. Upon your graduation, then you're sworn in and appointed an Indiana State Police trooper.
And at some point, well, let me back up. What's your current rank with the Indiana State Police?
I am a master trooper.
So, Master Trooper Harshman, at some point, did you become involved in the investigation of the death of Abby and Libby?
I did.
Do you know when you became involved?
Approximately April of 2020.
And at some point during your involvement, your role became the phone guy. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
After Richard Allen was arrested and held awaiting trial, it became evident pretty quickly that there was a large volume of communications from him to his family and others, so law enforcement was monitoring those communications and, in an effort to streamline the extreme volume of...
And when you say his communications, what do you mean? His communications from where?
From the county jail where he was initially held to the DOC and then currently back to Cass County Jail, where he's currently at. Those communications involve telephone conversations, video chats, text messages back and forth.
I want to focus on the phone calls. How many hours of phone calls have you listened to?
I'm approaching somewhere in the area of 700 total phone calls.
And how long are each one of those phone calls?
The phone calls generally will not last longer than 30 minutes. The majority of them are probably that long. There are calls that maybe last 5 minutes. There's some that last in between 5 and 30, but I would say the majority of them probably last 30. During the course of this, I've listened to all 700. At one point I went back and I re-listened to them, and then I've gone back 2 to 3 to 4 more times on calls that were of special interest to me and re-listened to them for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different times. So the total number of hours that I've listened to calls has got to be, it would be insurmountable and I don't know how I would keep track of it and guess, but it would be hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours.
And these phone calls, who initiates all these phone calls?
Richard Allen initiates the phone calls.
And for the majority of the phone calls, who is he calling?
He either calls his wife or his mother.
And during some of these phone calls, does Richard Allen make statements that are pertinent to this investigation?
Yes, he does.
During some of these phone calls, does he make statements against his interest?
Yes, he does.
Does he make incriminating statements?
Yes, he does.
I want to direct your attention to a phone call made on November 14th of 2022. Are you familiar with that call?
I am.
And do you recall who that call was to?
That call was to his wife, Kathy Allen.
And does Richard Allen make statements pertaining to this investigation on that call?
He does.
Do you recall what he says on that call?
Without my notes, I can't quote it exactly, but something along the lines of, if this becomes too much for you, call the detectives and I will talk to them and tell them whatever they want to know.
Judge, at this point, the state would move to play that call for the jury and would ask the court an opportunity to publish a transcript of that call to the jury and to the court, so that the court and the jury can follow along as the state plays that call.
You may. And, ladies and gentlemen, as you're receiving the transcripts, this is not the evidence is what you're going to be hearing in the call. So at the conclusion of the playing of the call, you can follow along with the transcript, but at the conclusion of that, the bailiffs will collect those transcripts from you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. In part by playing. And Judge, I think your bailiffs being kind enough to collect those for me.
Yes. Mr. McClelland, and then I'll collect all of them at the end. Okay, that's fine. Just pass them down to the end, folks.
Master Trooper, I'd like to move on to the next phone call on April 2nd of 2023. Are you familiar with that phone call?
I am.
And is that another phone call made by Richard Allen?
It is to his mom, Janice.
Okay. And does he make statements pertaining to this investigation in that phone call?
He does.
Maybe not pertaining to the investigation, but what statements do you recall that he makes within that phone call?
Again, I don't have the exact quote, but he confesses to the killing of Abby and Libby.
Well, I want to back up to the April 2nd. If he made phone calls about his religious beliefs, would that be a phone call you're familiar with?
Oh yes, it would.
And so this phone call, what kind of statements does he make within this phone call?
In this phone call, he talks to his mother and tells her that he has found Jesus Christ and wants to let her know that he's found God.
And Judge, I'd like to play that phone call at this point.
You may.
And again, Judge, I'd ask to publish the transcript, just for the jury to be able to follow along, and the court as well.
You may.
Thank you.
And again, we will collect these. This is not the evidence, it's what you are hearing on the actual recorded call.
And Judge, permission to give the witness a copy, as well, so he can follow along.
That's fine. In part by playing.
Master Trooper Harshman, I want to move on to a phone call from April 3rd of 2023. Are you familiar with that call?
Yes, sir, I am.
And that's the call you were referring to where he makes statements, incriminating statements. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And this is a call the next day after the previous call we just heard. Is that correct?
Correct.
Judge, I'd like to play the call and now do the same process. Publish a transcript to the court and also to the jury, please.
You may. In part by playing.
Master Trooper, I'd like to now move on to one of two phone calls from May 10th of 2023, the first being at 11:05 a.m. Are you familiar with that call?
I am.
And again, it's a call from Richard Allen to Kathy Allen, his wife. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The state would now ask to play the call and to go through the same process of publishing the transcript with it as an aid for the jury to follow along.
You may. In part by playing.
Master Trooper, I'd like to move on now to another phone call on May 10th of 2023 at 11:15 a.m. Are you familiar with that phone call?
I am.
Again, is it another phone call between Richard Allen and Kathy Allen?
Is that number 4 or 5?
Number 5.
I think that's Janice, isn't it? Or am I wrong?
My notes indicate that's between Richard and Kathy.
Okay.
Would you have any reason to dispute that?
No.
Judge, the state would move to play this phone call now and publish the same to the transcript of the same to the jury and to the court as an aid for them to follow along.
You may.
Thank you, Judge. In part by playing. Master Trooper, I'd like to move on to a phone call from May 17th of 2023. Are you familiar with this phone call?
I am.
And this is a phone call between, I believe, Richard Allen and Kathy Allen. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'd like to play that now for the court, Judge.
You may.
And I'd ask to go through the same process. I'd like to be able to publish a transcript to the court and the jurors, so they can follow along forward to assist them in listening to this phone call. The COURT, you may. And again, ladies and gentlemen, the transcript is not the evidence, it's what you're hearing on the call. And Master Trooper Harshman, before I play it, I misspoke, I think this is.
Yes, that's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Sir.
Janice Allen is who?
Richard Allen's mother, in part by playing.
Judge, I'm sorry, I think this is the wrong phone call. Judge, I'm gonna ask the court to come back to that one. I'm gonna have to apparently, the wrong phone call got recorded or put on the exhibit, and so I'm gonna move on to the next one, if that's okay with the court.
The May 17th one.
Yeah. That's not the May 17th phone call though.
Okay.
The wrong phone call got put on the zip drive, and so I'm gonna have to look into that on our break end.
Okay.
Get the correct phone call. And so what I'd like to do, Judge, is move on to the next phone call, that is the June 5th phone call.
Okay.
So, Master Trooper, I'd like to move on to the next phone call.
Okay. So we need to collect these transcripts.
Yes, collect those, Judge. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rossi.
I was going to ask if you'd have him collect those.
Yes, we'll collect those.
Thank you.
Master Trooper, obviously it was the wrong phone call from May 17th, so I'll look into that, or the wrong one got put on the exhibit, but I'd like to move to the June 5th of 2023 phone call. Are you familiar with that phone call?
I am.
Is that a phone call between Richard Allen and Kathy Allen?
That one would be yes.
The state would move to play that phone call at this point and publish a transcript to the jury for them to be able to follow along.
You may. All right. You may proceed. In part by playing.
Master Trooper Harshman, finally I'd like to move on to the phone call from June 11th of 2023. Are you familiar with that phone call?
Yes, sir, I am.
This is a phone call, again, between Richard Allen and Kathy Allen. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Judge, the state would now move to play that for the jury and publish a transcript for the court and the jury to follow along as an aid.
You may. In part by playing. Thank you for collecting the transcripts.
Thank you, Judge. Master Trooper Harshman, while listening to those hundreds and thousands of hours of phone calls from Richard Allen, have you gotten a sense of his behavior? And what I'm asking is, have you gotten a sense of his rate of speech, the speech patterns that he uses, his demeanor?
I have.
And you've listened to all those phone calls all the way back since October of 2022, I think you said. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And during the phone calls that you heard today, with the incriminating statements, how would you describe his demeanor during those calls?
Judge, may I ask a preliminary question?
You may.
Trooper Harshman, is it accurate to say that you don't have any specific education in the field of psychology?
Yes, sir, that'd be accurate.
And you don't have any specific education in the field of speech patterns or pathology or anything like that, do you?
That would be correct, too.
Judge, I'm going to object. He isn't. He's not qualified to render an opinion about speech patterns and context and behaviors.
Judge, he's testifying as to his opinion after he's listened to thousands of hours of phone call from Mr. Allen. I think he can testify as to his demeanor on the phone calls, and also he can testify from his experience from listening to all those hours of phone calls, his rate of speech, whether he's calm or not, and those kind of things, and that's what the state's asking him to.
Overruled.
Thank you.
And so, Master Trooper Harshman, how would you describe his demeanor during those phone calls that you heard today?
Calm, subdued, Solemn.
What about his rate of speech and his pattern of speech? Is that the phone calls you heard today, is that in line with other phone calls that you've heard from Richard Allen?
Yes, sir. I believe it's consistent.
And so when he's making those admissions to his family, is he using the same tone, rate of speech pattern as when he talks to his family about other matters?
I would agree with that.
And he does talk to his family about other matters during phone calls, correct?
That's correct.
During those phone calls you heard today, from you listening to all those phone calls, did you notice or did you have any indication that he was under duress or stress when he made those admissions?
I did not.
Were those phone calls that you heard today in line with other phone calls, that was his demeanor during those phone calls in line with other phone calls that he's made?
Yes, it was.
Now, I want to jump forward to August of 2024. You were still involved in the investigation at that point. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you were still listening to phone calls from the Department of Correction with Richard Allen. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I want to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit, or a portion of State's Exhibit 303. Are you familiar with this document?
Yes, I am.
What document's that? 303?
303. And do you recognize that exhibit, State's Exhibit 303, it's been admitted as a report from Dr. Walla?
Yes, sir, I do.
And who is Dr. Walla?
A mental health professional with the Department of Corrections.
And is she a mental health professional that was examining Richard Allen?
Yes, sir.
And you had a chance to review this report. Is that correct?
I have.
And you're familiar with what's in the report?
Yes, sir.
And so I want to talk about some statements made by Richard Allen in that report. What statements did he make in that report pertaining to the investigation, the death of Abby and Libby?
Would you like me to read those out, sir?
I'd like you to testify as to what statements he made. From your recollection from that report or reviewing that report, what statements Richard Allen made that are in relation to the investigation of the death of Abby and Libby?
Richard Allen made statements as to what he was doing on the day of the crime.
And what day of the crime is that, or what is the date of the crime?
February 13th, 2017.
And how does Mr. Allen state that he started that day?
He was with his parents on the morning of the 13th.
And was he supposed to go to lunch with his parents?
He was, and
what did he do instead?
Instead, he went and he bought a six-pack.
And then, what did he do next?
He advised that he drank 3 of the beers and said he finished theirs later.
And what did he do after that?
He said that he bundled up.
And then what?
And he went to the trail, and once at the trail, he stated that he laid in wait.
What happened after that?
He said he made a statement that that's where he thinks the bullet fell out.
Does he make a statement about that? That about seeing the girls?
Oh yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you tell me about that statement?
He said that he saw the girls and followed them onto the bridge. He mentioned at that point that he was doing something with his gun and stated that that's when he thought the bullet fell out.
What did he say next?
He stated that he ordered them down the hill.
And what were his intentions when he ordered them down the hill, according to his statement?
According to his statement, he thought they were older than what their actual ages were and he was going to rape the girls.
And what happened next, according to his statement?
I got a question, Mr. McClellan, if you don't mind. Do you mind if I'm having trouble with my glasses or the light or something, so it's hard to read, so I didn't know if I could use a light on my phone, or I don't want to keep missing lines, I can't see very well.
Judge, I don't have a good solution for that.
Do you want to use the light on your phone?
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have a good solution, Judge. I'm sorry. Master Trooper Harshman, do you have sufficient light at this?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And so the last question we talked about, he ordered them down the hill. We talked about his intentions. After he spoke about his intentions, what did he speak about next?
His intention was to rape the girls and he thought they were older than their biological ages. And then he said that he saw a van, which scared him and caused him not to follow through with the raping of the girls. He said that seeing that van caused him to cross a creek and then cut their necks.
What did he say next?
He indicated that he wanted to make sure they were dead, and he reported covering the bodies with tree branches.
And what did he do when he exited the trails?
He said he exited the area by keeping off the trails, as not to be seen, and he returned to his vehicle, which was parked by a nearby building.
Master Trooper Harshman, you had an opportunity to review that report when it was disclosed to the state. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did.
And as you reviewed that report, what stuck out to you?
It was the first report where I had seen him explain details of the crime that he alleged that he committed.
And one specific detail stuck out to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Tell me about that.
The detail where he said he saw a van that scared him and forced him to.
Prior to this, did you have any information that the person who killed Abby and Libby had seen any kind of vehicle?
I had not.
What did you do once you got that information?
Well, got a hold of the investigative group and the command let them know, obviously, and that I picked that out. I think maybe even Investigator Mu Lin may have seen it too. But it occurred to me that if that indeed was true, that the only person that would have seen a van, if a van was there, would have been Libby, Abby, and the person that killed them.
Did you follow upon that information?
I did.
And what did you do to follow upon that information?
I knew that the area where the van would have been was 625 West. I believe it's a gravel drive that dead ends at a residence that the Webbers live at.
So at this point, You thought that there may be some information involving the drive, or the vehicle may have been on that drive?
That's correct.
And that is the private drive that goes back to the Weber residence.
Correct.
So what did you do to follow up on that?
I looked for reports that had been completed prior to me getting this information, located reports that...
Let me back you up. Did you look up to see who lived at that residence?
I did. That's kind of how I identified it, but yes, I located to find out who lived there. I didn't have to look far, obviously. Investigator Mullen and a lot of the investigators knew that it was the residence of the Webers.
And when you say Webers, who do you mean?
I can't remember the mother that, I want to say Kay Weber maybe, I'm not sure if that's right, but her son, Brad Weber, is also somebody that stayed there some.
Did you run a B&B check on Brad Weber to figure out what vehicles he owns?
I did.
And did you find that he owned a van?
I did.
Tell me about that. What kind of van was it?
It was a 2000 Ford Econoline van.
If I show you a picture of States Exhibit 311, is that the van Brad Weber owned?
Yes, sir.
After you gathered that information, what did you do after that?
As I said, went through old reports that had been completed by other officers early on in the investigation and got those reports that involve Brad Weber.
And were you able to review those reports?
I was.
And did those reports include Brad Weber's work history?
They did.
And what did you find out about Brad Weber on February 13th, 2017?
According to his work history, he clocked into work at 5:41 in the morning and clocked out at 2:02 p.m. on February 13th, 2017.
After reviewing that report, did you interview Brad Weber?
Yes, I did.
And what did you learn from the interview with Brad Weber? Let me back up. Who was present at the interview of Brad Weber?
Myself, Investigator Mullen, and Brad Weber.
And when you interviewed him, what information did you gather from that interview?
I'm going to object. May I ask a question? Judge, a preliminary question?
Yeah.
Is the information that you gathered from the interview the things that Brad Weber told you?
The interview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you get an opportunity through that interview? Did you get an opportunity in that interview to confirm the information about his work history?
Yes.
And did you confirm what vehicle that he owned, the Ford Econoline van?
Yes, I did.
Now, the reports you reviewed before you went to interview Brad Weber, did they mention anything about the van he owned?
They did not.
You reviewed the reports pertaining to February 13th of 2017. Is that correct?
Correct.
In any of those reports that you reviewed, did any of those reports indicate that Brad Weber drove a van on February 13th of 2017?
Absolutely none of them.
Were any of the reports that you reviewed, to your knowledge, made public?
I do not believe so.
Were any of the reports, to your knowledge, posted on any kind of social media?
I do not believe so.
After you interviewed Brad Weber, what did you do next?
I compiled a report of the interview and submitted it to the case management system for approval.
Did you make a report close in time to these actions that you took?
I believe it was just within a few days.
And if I gave you your report, would that help refresh your recollection of the next step you took after you interviewed Brad Weber?
Yes.
Judge, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you recognize this document as your report?
I do.
And was it made close in time to the actions you took in August of 2024?
This is not the copy that has when I turned it in, it just has when it was printed, so I'm not exactly sure of the date, but I believe I recall the interview taking place on the 8th and the report being turned in just within 4 or 5 days later.
Does that paperwork that I gave you accurately reflect what's in your report that you turned in?
Yes, it is.
And would that help to refresh your memory or your recollection about what happened after you interviewed Brad Weber?
Yes.
Judge would ask permission of the court for the witness to review that report to refresh his recollection about what happened after he interviewed Brad Weber.
You may.
Trooper, when you're done reading to yourself, just look up me so I know that you're done. Fair enough?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
I'm gonna take your report back. Did that report help refresh your recollection about what steps you took next?
Yes.
And so after you interviewed Brad Weber, did you look at other information?
I did.
Tell me about that. What did you do?
I contacted First Sergeant Cecil.
And why did you contact First Sergeant Cecil?
Because he had done the analysis of Libby's phone.
And what information were you trying to gain from contacting First Sergeant Cecil?
I was trying to establish a timeline of when the video recording began, when the girls...
What video recording are you referring to?
I'm sorry, the video that Libby recorded on the Monon High Bridge that had Abby and Bridge Guy on it.
And this is the video from Libby's phone?
Correct.
And have you viewed that video before?
I have.
Have you viewed that video in its original format?
Yes, sir.
Have you reviewed that video in the enhanced format?
I have.
And how would the enhanced format differ from the original?
It stabilizes the image versus the original, where it moves around quite a bit.
And you've had an opportunity to observe both the original and the...
Yes, sir.
Have you observed both several times?
Over the years, yes.
And you were contacting again. Tell me why were you contacting First Sergeant Cecil about that video?
Because First Sergeant Cecil had done the analysis of the phone and had been able to develop a timeline as to the events as they occurred in relation to the phone.
Master Trooper Harshman, I'm gonna play what's been marked as States Exhibits 246. By playing, is that the video that you've reviewed in the past?
It is.
And is that the video you were contacting First Sergeant Cecil about?
Correct.
And were you able to confirm the timestamp of when that video was taken?
Yes.
And do you recall what that time was?
I have it in my report, but I believe it was 14:13.
Let's not use military time, because I don't.
I'm sorry.
No military time.
I'm sorry.
So what time is 14:13?
2:13 p.m.
And you were also able to gain other information from the phone data. Is that correct?
Correct.
And do you recall what other information you were able to collect as you sit here today?
Yes.
Can you tell me about what other information you were able to collect from the phone data?
First, Sergeant Cecil provided me with data. I think it's, forgive me, I'm technologically challenged, but metadata from the Apple Health app, which showed movement of the phone until its final rest.
And do you recall when the phone stopped moving?
I would prefer to look at my report and tell you off of the report.
And it's the same report we referred to earlier?
Correct.
Judge, may I let him take a look at the report to refresh his recollection?
You may.
Master Trooper, I'm gonna draw your attention to the same section.
Yes.
Of the report. And let me know when you've had an opportunity to review that.
Okay, sir.
And so what time from your information that you gathered, what time?
The phone stopped moving at 2 hours 32 minutes and 39 seconds.
And how does that fall in line with the information you got from Brad Weber?
Mr. Weber said,
Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
You can't say what he said.
Sustained.
But the information you gathered, you've been gathering information about when he was at work, correct?
yes, sir. He was,
And you testified that he was at work until 2:02 p.m.
correct.
Did you, and where did he work?
He worked at Subaru in Lafayette.
And did you gather information about how long it took him to get home from work?
I did.
And how long was that?
Judge, may I object and ask a preliminary question?
You may.
Is the information that you gathered about how long it took him to get home from work information that you got from him?
No.
Okay. Did you talk to him?
I did talk to him.
Did he tell you how long it took him to get home from work?
He did.
Okay. I'm going to object. It's based on hearsay. They can bring Brad Weber in.
I can rephrase the question, Judge.
Sustained.
How far away, if you know, is Lafayette to the trails?
Well, what I utilized was Google Maps and Waze, and I found that the drive him from his house to work was, I did it on several different days, and it ranged anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes.
So he gets off work at 2:02. With the information you had, what time about would he be arriving home?
In the afternoon, I would guess that it would be more towards the 25 minutes, so that would mean that that van was on that road somewhere in the area of 2:27 to 2:30.
Does that fall into place with the information you've received from the phone?
Absolutely.
Now, you've had an opportunity to review this video that we played in court today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've had an opportunity to listen to hundreds of thousands of hours of Richard Allen's phone calls. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Judge, I'm going to object. With all due respect, he didn't listen to hundreds of thousands of hours. That's not consistent with his testimony.
Sustained.
There's a little bit of drama here.
You listened to many hours of his phone calls, correct?
Many.
Over 700 phone calls?
Correct.
You had an opportunity to review the video, correct?
Correct.
Did you recognize the voice of the male individual on the video?
Yes.
And who is that voice? Or who do you believe that voice is?
The voice is Richard Allen.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Mr. Rozzi.
This law enforcement investigation went on for 5 years, didn't it? Before he was arrested.
Correct.
And over the course of that 5 years, law enforcement received over 14,000 tips, didn't they?
They received a lot. I don't know the number.
Well, if I told you that that's what the testimony was from the state witness earlier, would you believe that?
I would believe you.
And would you agree that in those 14,000 tips, approximately 14,000 tips, there were many of those that identified that voice on the bridge as having been somebody other than Richard Allen?
There were some. I don't know the number.
Lots of them, weren't there?
I don't know.
But you're not that familiar with that part of the investigation, right?
I did not deal with 14,000 tips. No.
All right. So you went and talked to Brad Weber, correct?
I did.
And Brad Weber owns a white van?
Yes.
And did you ever look at the discovery to see how many references to a van there is in the discovery in this case?
No.
Would you suspect that there's probably many, dozens and dozens of?
I'm gonna object, Judge. It calls for speculation. He says he didn't review the discovery to see how many times it was mentioned.
Sustained.
Would you be surprised to find that there might be hundreds of references to vans in the discovery in this case?
Don't know whether I'd be surprised or not, Mr. Rozzi, to tell you the truth.
And you believe what Brad Weber told you, right?
I do.
And if he gave you inaccurate information, then your theory on him being in that van near that bridge at that time would be false, right?
Had it not been for the eyewitness account of Richard Allen.
Had it not been for who?
Had it not been for the eyewitness account of the van being there and causing Mr. Allen to go across the creek.
And you said you reviewed numerous reports that were prepared back in 2017 regarding the investigation surrounding Mr. Weber, right?
I did.
And did you review a report by Agent Pohl and Agent Goatee about this?
Judge, I'm gonna object at this point. Can we have a sidebar, please?
Sure. Yeah, come on up.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Inaudible, doing a deposition, inaudible.
Judge, this is not a bargaining session. That report is a stand.
Can I finish? Inaudible, officer.
He asked him if had reviewed reports, and I'm just asking him what reports they've reviewed, and I think that's perfectly relevant.
That's not what you asked him. I mean, if...
Yeah, that was what I asked. If he reviewed reports, and did he review a report from Agent Pole and Agent Goatee?
And that's where we got into the sidebar. So now where are you going with this?
I don't know what the objection is. I mean, I'm just cross-examining the guy based on what he did. I'm not trying to act too cavalier about this.
The question, did you review the other reports? I have no problem with that question. That's not where I thought he was going. The court okay. I thought he was gonna say, what did his report say that Brad Weber told you?
No, I agree with that.
Inaudible.
We're all on the same page. Yeah, we're good.
That's a hearsay.
Yeah.
Sidebar conference concluded.
You may proceed, Mr. Razi.
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, we need to take a break.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. We, the juries, indicated they need to take a break.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll go ahead and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, while you're outside the courtroom, keep your minds open. Please don't form any opinions or conclusions about anything. You can discuss the...
All rise.
Jury out at 11:13 a.m.
All right. Let's take 15 minutes.
Judge, could Mr. Razi and I approach briefly?
Yes.
We can go off the record. I just want to take care of a housekeeping matter, I suppose, Judge.
Off record at 11:14 a.m. On record at 11:32 a.m.
Okay. Are we ready now? Are we ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay.
All rise.
Jury in at 11:34 a.m.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you. All right. You may resume your cross, Mr. Razi.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Harshman, Trooper Harshman, earlier, before we broke, you testified that you reviewed many reports or several reports. I don't remember exactly what words you used, as it related to Brad Weber and his circumstances surrounding this case.
Yes, sir.
And those reports were from back in the 2017 timeframe?
Yes, sir.
And did any of those reports involve an agent by the name of Adam Pole or Mr. Goatee?
Yes, sir.
And if one of those reports contradicted what Brad Weber told you about his travels on that day, would you feel differently about your conclusion today?
No.
Okay, so if one of those reports suggested that he actually wasn't there on that drive?
Objection, asked and answered.
I'm asking the question in a different form.
Overruled.
Thank you, Judge. If one of those reports suggested that he was not there at that time, between 2:13 and 2:32, on February 13th, 2017, you would still have the same opinion?
I would.
I object to the question. It mischaracterizes what's in the report, and it's asking this officer about what's in another officer's report.
Sustained.
If Brad Weber is not a credible human being, would your theory about the timeline change?
No.
Okay, you acknowledge that for your theory of this timeline to work.
Approximately.
Okay, and you don't know. Well, let me back up. You said I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's about a 19 to 20 minute drive from Weber's place of employment to his home?
I believe I said it was like a 20 to 25 to 24, 25-minute drive, depending on when I researched it during the day.
Okay, and that's assuming that you're not getting stuck in traffic, right?
I would assume that would be correct.
Well, you did a Google search, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it gives you the up-to-date traffic, and so that when I did it, it was in the afternoon when he would have been leaving, and it was 24, 25 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm assuming there were no accidents along the route at that time, so...
That also assumes that he went directly from the point where he clocked out straight to his car and started driving.
Correct.
That doesn't take into consideration that he might have sat around the parking lot, does it?
No.
Or that he might have looked on his phone.
No.
When he was in his car.
No.
Or that he might have talked to a coworker on the way out.
Correct.
Doesn't take into consideration that he might have stopped at a gas station on the way home.
Correct.
A lot of other factors that could play into that timeline, right?
Correct.
But you knew, when you saw this reference from Mr. Allen in the report, the van reference, that was a pretty important fact in your mind?
Yes.
And so important that you followed upon this all basically on your own, right?
No.
Well, I'm assuming you want to talk to Law, the rest of the team, and then you did the groundwork, I guess is what you're saying.
Myself and Investigator Mullen.
Okay, and you are aware that there was a handgun seized from Mr. Weber in this case back in 2017.
Judge, I'm gonna object. It's outside the scope of direct.
Sustained.
Are you aware Mr. Weber was a suspect in this case at one point in the past?
Judge, I'm gonna object. This is outside the scope.
Sustained. It's outside the scope.
Did you believe that the interview you were doing with Mr. Weber was an important one in the course of this investigation?
I did.
And did you ever consider the fact that he, Mr. Weber himself, might have been involved in this circumstance if you put his van there at that time?
No.
Okay, did you record that interview with Mr. Weber?
I did.
Is it audio recorded?
I believe it's audio and video.
And have you looked at any of those reports, the 2017 reports regarding Mr. Weber, in the past couple of days?
I have.
Okay, which ones? Did you look at the one that was done by Agent Pole and Mr. Goatee?
I did.
Was that just yesterday?
Was it yesterday that I looked at it?
Yeah.
I have looked at it yesterday, yes.
Was that the first time you ever looked at it, yesterday?
That's the first time I looked at it. I'd heard about it prior to that, but that's the first time I'd looked at it.
Yeah, it was brought to your attention yesterday that it existed, right?
I had heard that it existed prior to yesterday.
But yesterday was the very first time you looked at it?
Correct.
Now earlier, you were talking about, Mr. McClellan was asking you about your observations of Mr. Allen during the time he was in solitary confinement over the past 2 years, right? About his tone of voice and his pace of speech and those kinds of things, right?
Yes.
And you believe that during this period of time, April, May, June of 2023, when he was making these incriminating statements, that his pace of voice and tone of voice, pace of speech and tone of voice were similar to what you had heard in the past, right?
I believe I agreed to the calls themselves.
Okay, if Mr. Allen would have had a Haldol injection on April 14th, 2023, might that have impacted the way he sounded during those April phone calls?
I can't.
Judge, I have a few foundational questions.
You may.
Master Trooper Harshman, do you have a medical degree?
I do not.
Do you know the effects of Haldol on an individual?
I do not.
Have you prescribed Haldol to an individual?
I have not.
Have you ever sat with an individual in a psychologist or psychiatrist role?
No.
Are you licensed in any of those fields?
I am not.
Judge, I'm gonna object to the question. It calls for speculation.
Sustained.
I agree with that. Thank you, Judge. So as it relates to Mr. Allen's mental state when he was at the DOC, his psychologist, or anyone that, strike that, his psychologist would have, be in a better position to have an opinion about his mental state than you?
Correct.
And any other psychologist that may have spent time with him while he was there and done any objective testing on him?
I can't speak to any other, but more than me.
Okay, so if it was determined that he was psychotic or engaging in psychotic behaviors during the months of April, May, June, and maybe even into July 2023, you don't have any reason to dispute that, because you don't know.
I have not heard that that was the case.
But you couldn't dispute it, because you're not an expert, right?
Couldn't dispute it, because I haven't heard it.
Okay, have you heard that he had a Haldol injection on May 18th, 2023?
No.
Okay, if you knew that, if that was the testimony in this courtroom, might that impact the way you feel?
Judge, I'm gonna object to same. This calls for speculation, cause he's not in a position to be able to answer the effects of a Haldol on an individual.
It's a hypothetical question. I think it's permitted by the...
Sustained. It's sustained.
Did you know that he had a Haldol injection on June 5th, 2023?
Asked and answered, Judge. He already said no?
I asked him about.
It's a different date.
Okay.
He's talking about a different date.
Thank you, Judge.
Did you know he had a Haldol injection on June 25th, 2023?
I did not.
Did you know that he was under any type of mind-altering drugs while he was in the DOC?
I don't know what drugs are mind-altering that he would have had.
Okay, did you ever check with the DOC staff to see what kind of drugs he was being prescribed?
That was outside my lane.
All of those things could have an impact on the pace of his speech.
I don't know what those medications do to you.
So you were assigned to Mr. Allen back in, strike that, that's not actually accurate. Let me rephrase the question. Immediately after Mr. Allen was incarcerated in 2022, October of 2022, there was a team of individuals that were assigned to monitor his phone calls and this other kind of thing. There was a group of you, right?
I would say there was a group of people that had access. Assigned? I don't think anybody was assigned to anything. That's why I took the initiative to keep things organized, because nothing had really been assigned. It was just multiple people monitoring, and in an effort to make sure that everything was handled and covered and nothing was missed, it was imperative that at least one person kept track of everything.
There was not a lot of continuity at the start, and so you tried to kind of take the bull by the horns and funnel this all to you, right?
It wasn't a continuity issue, it was just an organizational issue.
Okay.
It was...
So ultimately, your job is to keep track of his incoming tablet messages, right?
Yes.
And his outgoing tablet messages?
Correct.
His incoming phone calls?
There are none.
His outgoing phone calls?
Correct.
His in-cell video?
Correct.
And all of the video of him when there. I think maybe you referred to it as movement video, or somebody did. I refer to it as camcorder video, but that video as well?
Correct. I monitored most all of it, yes.
You interviewed guards that were assigned to his cell?
I did.
You interviewed inmates that were assigned to his cell?
I did not.
You didn't interview any of the companions?
I did not.
Did the greater law enforcement team here in this case do that?
Somebody did, yes.
Okay, and you reviewed some of his medical records?
More so the behavioral reports. I don't know if those are considered. I would guess those are medical records, and yes.
Okay, and you reviewed the door sheets that were created by some of these or authored by some of these inmates?
I did.
And you reviewed the door sheets that were authored by some of the guards?
I did.
You actually were receiving automated messages on your phone from a third-party vendor so that you knew when there were communications in and out of Mr. Allen's cell.
Correct.
So that is to say that if you're at the Ball Diamond, your phone might go off, kind of like in the old days a pager might go off.
Judge, I'm gonna object. It's not relevant, for one. It's been asked and answered. He says he received these. It's not relevant to anything that was done on direct. He's answered the question at this point, Judge.
He said he surveilled him, and I think it is relevant to the extent that Mr. Allen did not have any privacy while he was in that.
Overruled.
Thank you. So you would, basically, be able to sit at a Ball Diamond, for example, and you would know whether or not there was a tablet message from Mr. Allen to some other third party, right?
Currently, tablet message, yes. I'm trying to remember if the Viapath system, which is what the DOC was utilizing, notified me on text messages. It definitely notified me on telephone calls. I can't remember if it notified me on text messages or not.
When Rick Allen was locked up in solitary confinement in Westville, he lost every sense of privacy, didn't he?
He was monitored 24 hours a day, the best I know.
And videoed?
Well, the video is part of the monitoring, yes.
We haven't seen any of that video in the course of your presentation, have we?
No.
It'd be helpful maybe to see some of that video to put some context to some of these statements, wouldn't it?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, You don't think it's important that, when somebody is saying something over the phone, that actually seeing their actions while they're doing that would be helpful to help understand more about what they're saying?
Maybe it would be, but I don't think it takes away from the content of the call.
As you would acquire all of this information when you're conducting your surveillance, you would then generate summary reports time and time again, right?
Correct.
And about how many of those reports did you tell me that you thought you generated over the course of this investigation?
I don't remember what I told you exactly.
A couple hundred maybe?
A couple hundred probably is what I think I told you.
Okay.
Maybe maybe a little bit, 150, 200, somewhere in that area.
A pretty comprehensive system in place, wouldn't you agree, in terms of?
Yes, it was documentation.
You've been a cop for a long time, right?
Awful long time.
In the history of your entire career, is it accurate to say you've never been assigned to surveil a man like you have been him, in a prison setting like this?
That'd be correct, yes.
You agree that, while incarcerated, Mr. Allen has said some things about this particular crime that are just not accurate?
I don't know that I can agree to that.
Okay, are you aware of him saying he shot those girls?
I'm aware that that came through an inmate companion that, I'm not sure inmate companions are the most reliable people to trust on any. There was no recording or video of him saying that I don't believe.
Okay, did you ever talk to that inmate companion?
No, I did not.
So you wouldn't have any way to judge the credibility of that inmate?
Well, I think somebody talked to him, but
Took a formal statement, right?
I don't know, I did not talk to him.
Did you ever read it?
No, I did not talk to him.
And you earlier referenced this report by Dr. Walla, I think it was on May 3rd maybe. I'm sorry, I lost my track of days, but a report.
I do.
And in that report, the chronology is that Mr. Allen said he was lying in wait, right?
That's what he says, yes.
Well, you're familiar with Bridge Guy, right?
I am.
The photo and the videos of Bridge Guy?
Correct.
Okay, and in that video, Bridge Guy's walking across the bridge, right?
Behind the girls, yes.
Okay, and in that video, the girls would be on the south end of the trail, the video's looking back to the north end, right?
I'm gonna take your word for that. If you say that that's looking north, I think that's right.
Which is to say, then, that the girls were on the south end of the bridge, presumably before Bridge Guy made it to the south end of the bridge.
So, is there a question there? I'm sorry.
Well, is that accurate?
That the girls were on the bridge before Bridge Guy.
That they made it to the other end of the bridge, the Weber end of the bridge, before Bridge Guy?
Yeah, he was coming from the direction that they came from, yes.
From the trailhead?
Yes.
North side of the bridge. So just based on that video, there's no sense that he was lying in wait, is there?
There's no sense that he wasn't.
Well, he's walking across the bridge, right?
The girls walked past him. He could have been lying in wait and got behind them.
And then the chronology of Mr. Allen's statements. Next is that the gun was cycled, and that's where the bullet came out, right?
That's what he said.
Which would have happened upon the bridge.
Correct.
If you believe his chronology.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, yeah, you would if you believe that, yes.
You've been upon that bridge?
I have.
There's railroad ties, right?
Correct.
And between those ties, there's big gaps, right?
Correct.
And many of those gaps lead straight to the bottom many feet below, don't they?
Correct.
Was there ever any kind of a cartridge or bullet or round recovered from that bridge?
Not that I'm aware of, but that was way before I became involved in the investigation.
Well, and you've been pretty involved, right?
All that took place before I was involved, but yes, I don't recall a bullet being found there.
So that's inconsistent with what he said, right?
Don't know that I'd agree with that, sir. I think it could be explained away.
Okay, but there was a general reference to a van, right?
Yes.
Nothing about the color of the van?
No.
Nothing about the make or model of the van?
No.
Nothing about the direction the van was headed?
No.
It could be just coincidence, couldn't it?
I don't believe it's coincidence.
But it could be an explanation, couldn't it?
I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. A coincidence that he saw another van.
Well, is that the only van in Carroll County, do you believe, at that time?
Yeah, that was the only van on 625 at between 225 and 230. According.
Yeah, but is that the only van in all of Carroll County?
No, of course not.
I mean, a van's a pretty general reference to a vehicle, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Now, let's talk about Rick's circumstances while he was incarcerated. You had a chance to observe him over the course of 2 years or more.
Yes.
And you're still doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, I have the ability to. Watching less and relying more on the jail staff to notify me of issues and things like that. But yeah, I mean, he's still a person that needs to be watched for his safety. I mean.
Well, it's also because you want to hear him say things and report those to the prosecutor's office, right?
I don't wish for him to say anything. But when he does say something, I do document it and I do report it.
Okay, fair enough. Have you been listening to his phone calls over the last 3 weeks?
I have.
Since we've been in trial?
I have.
And know that this circumstance might be a cause of additional stress on him, right?
I would imagine it's stressful.
And it might be likely that he would say something?
I don't know.
Now, there have been times both early in his detention circumstances and late in his detention circumstances where he has proclaimed his innocence, right?
There have been times, yes.
I mean, that has also been a theme in this case, hasn't it?
That
he's proclaimed his innocence.
He has some.
Have you ever gone through and logged any of those comments in any formal way?
I've documented. I take notes. I do know that when they happen and yeah, I mean, I've passed those on, so yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Rick Allen pose any real THRE to anybody up at Westville?
Yes.
You said he spit on a staff member one time, right?
That would be a threat.
He passively disregarded some directions, right?
Yes.
He didn't take his hands out of the cuff port one time, right?
I believe that was the case.
But other than that, he's been pretty easy to handle up there, hasn't he?
I mean, I would direct you to talk to them about that, because I think they would have a different opinion.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've heard some of that. How many times do you think you went up to Westville during your investigation in this case?
I think it was 2 or 3.
You ever take the time to go back to A1107, his cell, and just take a look at his cell?
No, I wasn't allowed.
Well, I mean, you're a police officer. You can go to the prison, right?
I don't get to go anywhere I want in the prison, trust me.
Well, did you ask them and they told you couldn't go back there?
No, I did not ask.
Okay, alright. Did you even ever ask to go back in the block and see what that was like?
I did not.
A pod. But you did take the time to go visit his cell down in Cass County, didn't you?
Yes, just when he was moved.
And down there, brand new facility, right?
It is.
Just opened, what, 6, 8 months ago?
Don't know.
Just very recently, wasn't it?
I'll take your word for that. I don't know.
Okay, right across the street from my office, right?
Judge, I'm gonna object at this point.
I don't know.
This is well outside the scope, and I don't know how this is relevant, where it's located.
Sustained.
Did you get to see his cell down there?
Judge, I'm gonna object. It's outside the scope of direct.
He talked about his supervision.
Overruled.
You go see his cell?
I did.
It's got a table in there?
In his cell, I believe there's a small table, yes.
Okay, and there's a TV out in the kind of the day room area?
Correct.
It's actually like a 2-part cell, right? There's a place where he sleeps, and then there's another area where he can socialize, or not socialize. Well, technically, he can socialize there.
Yeah. There's a cell attached to what looks to be like a small common area that has a shower and probably I guess it's a kiosk for making calls.
Much more hospitable than the circumstances up at Westville, right?
I would say same circumstances. If you want say it's painted nicer and it's cleaner, then maybe, but same circumstances.
You've seen some of the video of him eating his feces?
I'm sorry?
Did you see some of the video of him eating his feces?
Possibly. I think we discussed this before, the video is somewhat poor so if you tell me that's what's happening, then I can't really dispute it but possibly.
Well, it was reported by others that that's what.
Correct.
It's not normal behavior, is it?
It's not normal for me.
But you said you thought he'd be doing those same things if you were in general population, didn't you?
I think Richard Allen struggles to be alone and,
So being in solitary confinement would be much harder on a man like him then.
well,
Somebody who didn't struggle to be alone?
I think he struggles alone because he's in constant need of attention and I believe that he does that stuff to try to attempt to attract attention to himself.
Okay, not because he was psychotic?
No, and I've heard him say it in the phone calls.
You've heard him say what?
That he does things for attention and he gets upset when nobody pays attention to him.
Okay, but you also know that he was determined to be PS psychotic when he was up there?
You keep saying that, but I've never heard anybody tell me that he was psychotic, no.
Okay, did you ever talk to the medical or psychiatry staff up at the prison?
No, it was outside what I was doing. It's not my party on of the investigation.
You're aware that he was self-harming when he was in that cell?
I'm aware that he made a statement that he was banging his head on the wall because nobody would come talk to him and he was frustrated that, even by hurting himself, nobody would come talk to him. So yeah, it was intentional what he was doing.
Okay, so he was banging his head on the wall to the point where he was injured by that, right?
Again, I think if you look at the reports of the people who were there, they were saying he wasn't doing it hard enough to injure himself, but only to try to make a mark.
Did you ever go look at the video yourself to see what he actually was doing?
I think we talked about this before, but in his cell, the door is inset a little bit, the angle of the camera, you can see him walk up to the door. I know it's the time frame where he was allegedly banging his head on the door, but was he banging his head on the door at that point? Probably. I don't know, I can't verify it by the video.
Had you ever watched the videos of him rolling around in his feces?
Rolling around in food and maybe feces, yes.
At any point in time when you were watching all this, did you ever think to yourself, hey, I need to talk to the medical staff or the physiatry staff or the warden to see if he's okay?
There's medical staff on site. I'm 100 and some odd miles away, so it's really out of my lane to try to interpret what they're seeing every day, so.
Right. He was up in Westville, right?
He was, yes.
And you were where?
I live south of Indianapolis.
Okay, so the answer is you never took the time to talk to anybody about his behaviors in that cell that you observed?
My answer is that wasn't my responsibility during this whole thing to do that, so.
In fact, you told me that you thought he was right where he needed to be, didn't you?
Based on the fact of how he needed 24-hour monitoring because he would constantly say that he was going to kill himself, absolutely where he needed to be to prevent that from happening.
This isn't the first time we talked, right?
No, sir.
And you had previously testified about a phone call. Actually, it was a phone call I think we heard today on November 14th of 2022. Is that right?
You'd have to refresh I don't remember us talking about it, but I'm not saying that we didn't, but I just don't know.
Okay, remember us talking about it. I think it was here in this court, maybe in July.
If you have a transcript or.
I'm going to hand it to you. Do you remember us being here in July?
I do.
I had gone through the same with you?
Similar.
And if I hand you a copy of the November 14th, 2022 transcript, would that help refresh your recollection?
It would.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Just let me know when you had a chance to take a look at that.
Yeah, I think this is the one from, the first or second one from earlier today.
And when we were in court back on July 31st here in this courtroom, did you believe that phone call, that November of 2022 phone call, had some significance in this case in terms of Mr. Allen's mental state?
In terms of what?
Of his mental state, excuse me.
I'm not so sure that it was so much about his mental state or just the fact that he said that he told Kathy that if it becomes too much to call the investigators and he'll tell them whatever they want.
Right. And what you said, did you say this? If this becomes too much for you, just let me know. I'll talk to the detectives and tell them everything they want to know. That's what you quoted him, right?
That's what he said. That's not what I did anything, right?
May I approach? Would it help to refresh your memory to look at this?
Transcript
from July?
Probably.
May I approach, Judge?
You may.
Take a look at that, if you would.
Okay.
I can't see the line number, or the page number, I'm sorry. Volume 1, page 13, lines 17, or 16 through 18.
Okay.
Are those your words?
I think that those would be my words, but I didn't have the benefit of having a transcript and I was, trying to pull that out of 700.
Judge, I'm sorry. What's the question?
I don't know. I don't know what the question is.
I'm trying to clarify. I appreciate,
He's trying to clarify.
the reaction. Did you testify that that phone call and what Mr. Allen said during that phone call was significant to you in terms of the way he was talking and thinking?
It was significant in the fact that he said he would talk to investigators if this became too much for Kathy. That was the significant part.
And did you say, if this becomes too much for you?
Judge, I'm gonna object to this. The jury's seen.
Are you trying to impeach him or?
I'm trying to clarify Mr. Allen's words.
The clarification is in the transcript.
They don't have the transcript.
But they had it and they've heard it.
May I approach?
Yes, you may.
This statement, November 14th, 2022, transcript contained what he said on that day, right?
Correct.
Those are his words.
Correct.
And what he said is that he would tell them, whatever it is they want me to say, I'll just say it. That's what he said, right?
Yes.
And in fact, directing your attention to page 6, line 10 and 11, lines 10 and 11.
Judge, I'm gonna object. Is he moving to admit the transcript into evidence, or is he just gonna have Mr. Harshman read from the transcript?
It's already been. The audio's already been admitted.
And this has been already admitted to the jury. They considered it. If that's the argument, Judge, it can speak for itself. It's been admitted. They've had an opportunity to listen to it. They could see it, and it speaks for itself.
Sustained.
Thank you. Those words suggest that he was willing to just do whatever the police wanted him to do to take the heat off of his wife, didn't it?
That would be your interpretation.
Well, is that an unreasonable one?
I would say I've got a different explanation, so.
But is mine unreasonable?
It's not unreasonable.
Thank you. Now, Mr. McClelland offered up some phone calls earlier, right?
Yes.
And one of those, you can set that down there to your right, if that's okay, Trooper, just upon the desk there. Thank you. And one of those phone calls was from April 3rd, is that correct?
Correct.
And specifically, that was a 5:14 phone call, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Would it help to look at the transcript to refresh your recollection?
That'd be fine. Thank you.
May I, Judge?
You may.
Yes, 5.
Is that the phone call we heard earlier?
Yes, 5:14, yes.
And during that phone call, Rick actually referenced a call that he had made earlier that day, didn't he?
That I don't know.
To his father? Page 5, line 8.
He says, "Did Dad tell you I called?"
Right. And you know that he made a phone call earlier that day to his mother and father, don't you?
I can't speak to that here. I would be able to find out, but I don't know.
Okay. Do you agree that there were 3 phone calls made on the 3rd, during the early morning hours of April 3rd, 2023?
I can't speak to that without checking.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Would it help to look at the transcripts to refresh your recollection? I'm sorry, yes or I didn't.
Yeah. If you've got all 3, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do. Give me a second here. Let me get organized. 1 second, Your Honor. I've got it here. I'll hand you a transcript of recorded telephone conversation April 3rd, 2023, at 3:12 a.m. Please take a quick look at that. And the simple question is.
Yes, I believe so.
And you've had a chance to review that call, right?
I have not.
You've never seen that?
No, I did not say that. I just said.
I'm sorry.
I have not reviewed it.
Okay, ever.
No, I have reviewed it.
Just not here?
Maybe in real time when it happened.
All right.
But I don't believe that I've looked at it in preparation for any proceedings.
Okay.
Do you want me to review it or?
I'm just asking you, did you look at it?
I glanced at it, yes.
Okay, so just to make sure everybody's clear, he made a call?
He did.
To his mother and father on April 3rd, 2023, in the early morning hours, right?
Correct.
Specifically, what's the time on that call?
3:12.
And then earlier during your testimony, there was admitted into evidence a phone call from April 3rd, 2023, at 5:14. That's the one we heard, right?
Correct.
Would you agree that there was also a third call made on April 3rd, 2023, at 8:45 a.m.? And would it help you to refresh your recollection to look at this transcript?
Yeah, that'd be great.
And don't you think it would be? Would those 2 phone calls provide some context? Those 2 phone calls, the 3 a.m. phone call and the 8 a.m. phone call, provide some context for the phone call that we heard at 5 a.m.?
Judge, I'm gonna object to this line of questioning.
Sustained.
Judge, forgive me, but I don't know what the legal objection is. The line of questioning?
He's making a legal argument to the witness, Judge, is what he's doing. So he's not in this witness is not in a position to answer a legal question that we've argued in front of the court outside the presence of the jury already.
Judge.
That's why I sustained it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That phone call at 5 o'clock, 5:14, the one we heard earlier, is not the whole story about what was said on the morning of April 3rd, 2023, was it?
Judge, I'm gonna object to that question, as well for the same.
Sustained.
Objection.
Did you ever suggest to play those other 2 phone calls?
Judge, I'm gonna object to that question as well. It's not again, I think it's outside the scope of direct, 1, but it's not the witness's decision of which phone calls the prosecutor puts into evidence.
He's doing it through this witness.
Sustained.
Rick Allen's proclaimed his innocence in that 3 a.m. phone call.
Judge, I'm gonna object. It calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
Rick Allen said he was broken down and felt like
Judge, I'm gonna object.
he was at Guantanamo Bay.
Would counsel approach, please?
Sidebar conference conducted.
It's being offered to show it's inconsistent.
I apparently did not make myself clear. His statement is hearsay. I don't know, inaudible. Your argument is you can't go around that argument, but that's exactly what you're trying to say.
I'm saying it's not hearsay.
It is hearsay.
It's being offered to show
It is.
inconsistent with what he said in court.
It is hearsay, it is the defendant's statement, and we've had this discussion, and I'd encourage you to read the hearsay RULO, and I trust that you've done that. I've sustained the objection.
Thank you.
Sidebar conference concluded.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
You said that earlier, strike that. Back in August, I took your deposition, right?
Yes, sir.
And we talked about these confessions that we're talking about today, right?
Yes, broadly, I think. I don't know.
Okay, and the bulk of them occurred in April, May, and June, isn't that right?
Correct.
And that's also when he was engaging in the bulk of his bizarre behaviors, isn't it?
Yes.
And a lot of these things that he said while he's been incarcerated have been what I'd phrase as generic confessions, haven't they?
We listened to the calls, but I would need your definition of a generic confession before I would agree to that.
Okay, well, there's not a lot of detail in them in terms of unique facts, right?
Is him saying, I did it, to you a generic confession?
Well, I'm asking you.
Well, I guess that I need some direction on what you'd consider a generic confession.
Okay, well, I'm asking the questions today. Do you believe that it's generic or?
Then no.
Okay, the only thing that he said that's unique to you, in your opinion, is that there was a van, right?
That's the only thing that was unique, that was a detail of the crime that only the killer would know.
Okay, 2 years in solitary confinement, right?
Would not afford him the opportunity to have knowledge that only the killer would know.
700 phone calls that you heard, right?
Approximately.
He's talked to various guards in that facility and facility down south, hasn't he?
Yes.
Inmates.
Apparently, yes.
Tablet messages in and out.
Some.
One time talked about a van, right?
That nobody else knew but the killer.
I have nothing further.
Mr. McClelland.
Judge, I do want to play ask leave of the court to play the additional phone call. Is this a good time to break for lunch, Judge? I'm not telling the court to do,
No.
The phone call's about I'm not sure how long it is right off the top of my head.
Okay. We'll just go ahead and take our break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and break for lunch. It's about 12:20. While you're outside the courtroom, please keep your minds open. Please don't form any opinions or conclusions about anything. Hey folks, we're still working up here. Thank you. Please don't, you may discuss the case amongst yourselves, but please, only do that if all 15 of you are present in the jury room at the same time, and then please don't deliberate. Gentlemen.
All rise.
Jury out at 12:19 p.m.
You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen out in the audience, I really don't appreciate your conduct. If you cannot conduct yourselves appropriately while we are on the record and still conducting court, I would ask you to leave. We'll be in recess till 1:30. Jody, you may go off the.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Off record at 12:20 p.m. On record at 1:32 p.m.
All right, we are back on the record. Are we ready to continue? I think when we broke, we were getting ready to do direct by the state of Master Trooper Harshman.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can we AP approach for one quick housekeeping? Sure. Matter? We might want to. Oh, okay.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Sorry. That's okay. I need to reserve a hotel room for an expert. I figured she would probably stay in Lafayette. I don't want there to be any contact. If she stays at the Hilton in Lafayette, that should be fine. Okay. That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Sidebar conference concluded.
Okay. All right. So we're ready to bring the jury in.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Let's bring in the jury.
All rise.
Jury in at 1:35 p.m.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Mr. McClelland, you may begin your redirect.
Thank you, Judge. And I owe an apology to the court and to the jury. I really struggled with technology during this trial, and in my struggles, I put the wrong recording of the phone call from May 17th of 2023 on State's Exhibit 313. I have corrected that, and so before I start redirect, I'd ask the court to grant me leave to be able to play that phone call as part of direct. I've got that queued up, ready to go, if the court grants that motion.
That's fine. That's May 17th.
May 17th of 2023. And Judge, I would ask that I be allowed to publish a transcript of that phone call to the court and to the jury, so that they may follow along to aid them in listening to that phone call.
You may.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, again, the transcript isn't the evidence, what you're hearing is the evidence. And we'll collect those transcripts like we've been collecting all of the transcripts. In part by playing.
Master Trooper Harshman, you've been involved in other investigations and arrests besides the one involving Richard Allen. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And have you been involved in other cases where someone who is under arrest is held in trial, or is held in jail before their trial?
Yes.
And do you know, Is it common for individuals that are in custody in a jail to be monitored?
Yes.
And are they monitored by video on occasion?
Yes.
What about their phone calls out of the jail? Are those monitored?
Yes, they are.
Are those typically recorded?
Yes.
And do law enforcement, at least in your experience, do law enforcement typically listen to those phone calls?
Sometimes, yes.
Mr. Rossi asked you about Mr. Allen's demeanor while he's at Westville, and whether he was, I think the phrase was calm or a problem for the facility. Do you recall that?
Yes.
You've had an opportunity to observe Mr. Allen, not only in Westville, but also in Wabash and then also in Cass County Jail. Is that correct?
More Cass County than Wabash, yes.
Okay. And have there been issues while he's been housed at Wabash or at Cass County?
Yes, there have been.
And have there been issues where he's had to be restrained?
There have been.
Have there been issues where he's been violent?
There have been.
And one was recently. Is that correct?
Correct.
Over lunch, did you get an opportunity to view a video from the Cass County Jail?
I did.
And what does that video display?
It displays Mr. Allen screaming loudly, lots of profanity, extremely irate, pounding on the doors of his cell, telling the guards that he's gonna fucking kill them.
Objection. Judge, I'm gonna object at this point. None of this has been discovered to us.
This has been provided in discovery.
I believe so, Judge. May we approach?
Yes.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Do you not have the video from the Cass County Jail from 2 weeks ago?
Aye.
Where he does this on his neck, and he blows up, and just taken to the padded cell.
I haven't it, if there is one. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not gonna. I haven't seen it.
It's been provided, you just haven't seen it.
We're in the middle of a trial, and
Okay.
Well, we'd like to play it, so I want to make sure you've seen it before I move to admit it.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see it.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. So I don't know how you want to handle that, Judge, but he's talked about Cass County, and when he was housed there. We've had two incidents, one last week and one 2 weeks ago, where he's gotten violent, he had to be restrained and taken to a padded cell. And he's made admissions in the one I'm gonna play, as well, and so we'd like to play it. It's about a half hour long.
I don't really think it's relevant at this point. It doesn't have a tendency to prove that he committed these crimes,
How is it relevant?
Well, Judge, he brought up the issue of whether he's been calm or a problem since he's been at the jail. So it's a rebuttal to what he's brought up.
I said when he's in Westville.
Well, you also said Cass County, and you implied that Cass County's the Hilton while Westville's the Hole. And so he has had the same issues at Cass County that he's had at Westville, being a problem for them.
Well, inaudible, testify.
I wasn't gonna play it on direct, but I think it's rebuttal to what you.
Okay. Well.
And I don't have a problem letting them review it.
Well, he needs to, at least.
Yeah.
If we're gonna publish it to the jury, he needs to have the opportunity to review it.
Discovery's coming in.
Well, it's for us too. So I don't know how you want to handle it, Judge, but we're gonna arrest after him. And so I don't know it's unorthodox for us to open backup evidence back up and put it in after he views it, but I'm not sure how else.
How long was the video?
Half hour.
Okay.
It's gonna take you a little bit to watch it. It's not 2 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with him just testifying about it. I'm not trying. I'm not negotiating. I said that about what we're doing.
Thank you.
So I'm not gonna do that.
Really it's just not the testimony's not as powerful as the video.
Yeah.
You understand that, otherwise.
That's a good point.
He'd be testifying about.
We should keep that in mind. Mark that phrase.
I heard it.
Yeah.
The testimony's not as powerful as the video.
I heard it.
So I don't know how you want to handle that. Or how you want to handle that.
Well, clearly you can't rest until that's played, so I don't like opening things back up.
I agree.
Unless it's unintentional and inaudible.
Yeah.
So you want to maybe take a recess to give you the opportunity to review it?
Yeah, I might.
I had to review it over lunch, or I would have.
Could I double time it, or double speed it?
Yeah, you could.
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched it over lunch, 'cause I wanted to see what was on it for sure. I'd seen it before, but...
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then, we'll take a break so you can watch it.
Yeah, we'll go play that real quick.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick break, give you an opportunity to get up and move around a little. While you're outside the courtroom, please keep your minds open. Please don't form any opinions or conclusions about anything. Again, you may discuss the evidence that you've heard so far, but please, only do that if all 15 of you are present in the room at the same time, and please, don't deliberate. Gentlemen.
All rise.
Jury out at 1:51 p.m.
You may be seated. All right. So it's your belief that this video, is it approximately 30 minutes long?
I think so, Judge. In all fairness, I was kind of.
Okay.
So I don't know the exact minute, but it took us about a half hour or so to get through it to make sure everything was clean on it in terms of nothing that wasn't allowed in evidence. And so I think it's about a half hour would be my guess, Judge.
Is there audio?
Huh?
Is there audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So if we reconvened at 2:30, you would have plenty of time to review it, discuss it with counsel.
Oh yeah?
I mean, maybe before 2:30.
I'm gonna go over here and try to buzz through it.
All right.
I kind of know what I'm looking at.
So maybe 2:15. Or is that too close?
Yeah, just 2:15's fine.
2:15.
If I need more time, I'll let your staff know.
All right.
Mr. Razi.
Then, we'll reconvene at 2:15.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Jody, you can go off the record.
Off record at 1:52 p.m. On record at 2:33 p.m.
Okay. We're back on the record. You've had the opportunity now, Mr. Razi, to review I don't even know I don't think it's been marked as an exhibit, but it's a video that we talked about prior to the break.
Yes. May we have a sidebar?
Certainly, of course.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Okay, so here's what's going on. So I took the...
Inaudible.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I wasn't gonna watch it in the hallway.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not ideal.
And so what's on there is this a video at the Cass County Jail. I think it's August 26th, and there's several cameras. And so we watched the first 15 minutes of the incel, and then several cameras or whatever, but there's another 15 to 20 minutes of video on there along with that. There are other things that I haven't watched, so I don't want you to think I'm saying that. But our position is it's not relevant. It doesn't have a tendency to prove the fact at issue. It's specifically that he was a good boy or a bad boy at Westville, which is what that conversation was about. It's also on
Okay.
But I think, Your Honor, we could, before you make your decision, I really think you need to watch that, because you just can't understand it until you sit and watch it. And it really has very little to do with the ultimate question and very little to do with this issue today of what was his behavior like in Westville. So that's our position today.
Judge, I agree that there are 43 issues. That's why we didn't introduce it, we didn't play it. But he's painting a Richard Allen that's asked Master Trooper Harshman that Richard Allen is calm, and that he wasn't a problem at Westville, and that Westville is this bad place, and that once he got to Cass County, everything was merry. And so he's opened the door, in our opinion, that we should be able to play this, and that's why we're asking you to play it. We think he's opened the door.
I never said that about Cass County.
You brought up Cass County.
I never said that he was calm and nice and a good guy at Cass County. All we talked about was the fact that he had watched a video.
I recall you asking him.
I didn't say that.
About his behavior at Cass County versus Wabash versus Westville.
I don't recall that.
You asked about the conditions in Cass County, whether he had a desk, a table.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with his behavior.
Well, but you did ask about the behavior, and Mr. Harshman said, well, I'm familiar with Westville and Cass. I didn't pay as much attention to Wabash Valley.
I did watch much from Wabash. So that was his response to your question.
Oh, thank you.
About his behavior at Cass County.
And he has testified that he disagreed. So?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
Oh, he clearly said, you brought it up, so the door's been opened, so now the issue is whether or not you make the state go through that door. So you're saying, I don't know, 404, that's prior bad acts.
It's a prior.
It's other acts, it's not prior.
404's prior bad act. There's no prior.
There's
no additional crimes.
404 is prior bad acts, but I know it applies as well to current acts, but its behavior, it's not.
Yeah, I would not. 404 didn't even occur to me. It seems Tomatobi a 403 issue that needs to be resolved.
So you want me to watch it before it goes to the jury?
Yeah, I think before we.
Okay.
And I think that we should show it to her in the format we were going to show it, because you're right, there's multiple views, but the view that we selected is of an overhead of the picture of the cell, so that you can see.
That's what we watched.
So sorry.
We watched the incel video, not the...
Yeah, but there's a separate camera below. I think it's the intake desk or something.
Right.
Kind of running at the same time.
Okay.
There's also a lot of distortion in it, because the sound is just, it's not Bose quality sound.
Well, yeah.
And so it is a little distorted. It's tough to say, tell what.
And that's why we didn't use it in direct.
And I don't disagree with you.
Well, I think you opened the door about his quality of life, and about how he was treated in Cass. To me, you opened the door.
How he handles that.
How he handles himself at Cass. And so to me, you've opened the door, which now allows us to put that in to show he's acting the same way, or at least he's displaying some of the same behavior at Cass that he was at Westville. Well, let's put it in there and play it.
You're gonna watch it, Your Honor?
Yeah. Put it in and play it.
No, not in front of the jury.
No, heavens no.
Or not in front of this courtroom.
Well, what do you want me to do?
Well, you might want to go. You might want to take it back and watch it on your computer or something before you make a ruling.
Do you want me to have do you guys mind if I have my investigator go back there and set it up for her to play?
No, I don't mind.
Okay. Then, you can go back in chambers and...
I don't have a chambers.
You have a table.
Well, we had to do it in the hallway, so...
Inaudible.
Yeah, well, that's they've kind of opened up this little area for me, because all of their stuff is inaudible, so it's easier for them not to have me and my people and everybody else on top of them, so we're in that little room.
Well, whatever we can do to help.
All right. So you want me to watch it. So I need to watch it and you all want to.
I'm not. It is what it is. I'm not gonna, inaudible. I think it's not exactly just we put it up and play it in front of the courtroom.
Okay.
It's just a bunch of screaming and yelling and chaos.
Okay.
Inaudible.
Inaudible.
Well, yeah, which is why I'm really glad we've got a sequestered jury. I don't have any equipment to play it on.
That's all you have.
Can we at least make the record that?
Maybe we need to go back and listen to the record about what was said?
So if you want to make the record now, and I think the judge is asking to make a record now, that she's gonna go back and view it.
Prior to its being offered, you have objected. I need to review it prior to displaying it to the...
So you're showing it over like the...
Whatever image you intend to display to publish to the jury, Mr. McClelland, okay. That's the image I should see.
The incel stuff.
Over, like...
Yeah, when you say, over, I don't know what you like from the corner.
Yeah, up in the corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right. So the exhibit hasn't been marked, but the argument before we took off was you had viewed a video over the lunch hour from the Cass County Jail depicting some behavior from Mr. Allen while in confinement at Cass County. Defendant is objecting on the basis of relevance and 403, and has requested that the court review that prior to it being admitted and or published to the jury, and you've also asked that that be done in.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So if you would set that up in chambers.
Judge, my invest.
For whatever view you anticipate, if I allow it to come in over a 403 objection, whatever view you intend to display to the jury needs to be set up in chambers, so that I'm viewing what the jury would be viewing if it's admitted.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Jason, just let the jury know that we've got about a half-hour yet break for them. All right. Yeah, and could we mark that like as Exhibit 314? Is that where we're up to? That way we know that's okay. That's all right. So it'd be State's Exhibit, all right. Well, Jody, you can go off the record and we will go look at the video. State's Exhibit 314 offered.
Off record at 2:44 p.m. On record at 3:29 p.m.
All right. We are back on the record. All right. Well, thank you. I've had the opportunity to review, sorry, I forgot the number already. I think it was 314, State's Exhibit 314.
May we, Judge?
Sure.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Well, we had a chance to listen to the record, and there was no conversation whatsoever about his behavior in Cass County. The only.
with a TV.
With a TV.
Access.
And Mr. Harshman, Trooper Harshman said that it was basically the same as Westville, just simply not as painted, and that's it. That's all that said.
And that he didn't actually get into the cell, I think he said that.
And there's no other comments about it, so it's outside the scope.
Okay.
Judge, if the questions they asked don't apply, that he was mistreated at Westville, that's the cause of these false confessions, and so we still think it comes in, they open the door, that we should have the opportunity to show his behavior at Cass County. So that's the state's thinking, Judge.
And I certainly understand the argument, but the defense was pretty careful to keep the behavior issues limited, apparently, to Westville and Wabash Valley and stayed away from Cass County. So it's horrific, his conduct on that video is horrific, but I don't think they haven't opened the door to it.
Okay.
So I will sustain the objection.
Okay.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right. So I will show that State's Exhibit 314 has been offered, the defendant has objected to that, and I will sustain the objection and not authorize 314 to be admitted. Is the state ready to continue its redirect of officer, I'm sorry, Master Trooper Harshman?
Yes, Your Honor.
Gentlemen.
All rise.
Jury in at 3:33 p.m.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. You may proceed, Mr. McClelland.
Thank you, Your Honor. Master Trooper Harshman, before we went on break, we were talking about your experience with other arrests and other people that are in jail pretrial. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, sir.
We talked about how other people who are held pretrial are monitored by the jail.
Yes, sir.
And the phone calls are monitored. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is it your experience that, at times, officers monitor those phone calls as well?
That's correct.
What about phone calls to attorneys? Are those monitored?
They are not.
And so it's just phone calls to, well, is it phone calls to everybody else except attorneys?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And are there, and in your experience, are there cameras that monitor people who are held pretrial while they're in the jail?
Yes, sir.
And are there cameras in the cell?
Sometimes yes, sir.
I don't have any other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Rozzi.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Does anybody on the jury have any questions for Trooper Harshman? Would counsel approach?
Sidebar conference conducted.
I was just thinking I might get one of those white noise deals for my bedroom when my kids are around.
They work. You stated that, in your experience, people are often held in jail until trial. Is this normally county jails or state prisons?
Okay with that.
According to Exhibit 303, Mr. Allen was first offered this new prescription for oral Haldol May 2nd, 2023. Did you? Okay, so that's just like precursor stuff.
Okay.
Okay. The COURT. Did you listen to Richard Allen's phone conversations before May 2nd, 23, and heard his confessions?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I'm good. So what's the date? May
2nd.
May 2nd, 2023.
Before May 2nd, 2023.
Well, did you listen to?
The phone calls before May 2nd.
before May 2nd, 2023.
Okay. Okay.
Do you know how many vans travel down Brad Weber's drive?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many vans travel down the road his drive is next to?
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Aren't there video cameras outside of the Hoosier Harvest store? Huh?
What? Maybe they mean like outside of the
Oh.
grounds or the property.
Other than the Hoosier Harvest store.
I don't think it's really relevant to any of this, is it?
Well, he can't answer that anyways, I don't think, so I would just.
Did that even come up?
No, but I think when they were talking about the vans and the cars or...
They don't realize Weber's Road doesn't go by the Hoosier Harvest store.
So no to this question.
Yeah, we'd object.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Sidebar conference concluded.
Trooper, you stated that, in your experience, people may often be held in jail until trial. Is this normally county jails or state prisons?
In my experience, it's mostly been county jails.
Any follow-up, Mr. McClelland?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rossi?
No, Your Honor.
Did you listen to Richard Allen's phone conversations before May 2nd, 2023, and hear his confessions?
Yes.
Mr. McClelland?
Just a moment, Judge. Mr. Harshman, were there confessions made before May 2nd of 2023?
Yes.
And some of those we heard in court today were in April of 2023. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Mr. Rossi?
April 3rd was the first phone call, right?
Correct.
Nothing further.
Do you know how many vans travel down Brad Weber's drive?
I do not specifically know. I know it's a private drive and Brad Weber, in his interview, stated that there's not much vehicle traffic that goes through there, but I do not know how many.
Okay. Mr. McClelland?
Is Brad Weber's house the only residence? Let me back up. It's a private drive, correct?
Correct.
Is Brad Weber's residence the only house on that private drive?
Correct.
Does the private drive go to any other residences?
It ends at his house.
Okay. Do you know whether or not have you seen a map of the area of Brad Weber's drive?
I have.
And my understanding is it's 625, the road that leads into his private drive. Is that your understanding?
I've heard different stories. I've heard that 625 ends at the driveway, and then I've heard that it actually people call it 625, it just continues, but the best I can tell, there's not county maintenance or it's not a county road, so...
Is there a gate at the end of his driveway?
There is.
Okay. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Mr. Rossi? Up examination of Master Trooper Brian Harshman.
The gate's not closed, is it?
Sometimes it is, yes.
Well, there's another house actually beyond the threshold of that private drive.
There's a house at that gate, yes.
And there's a bunch of homes up that road that runs to the south.
In front of the gate, yes.
And there's also homes. There's other homes around Brad Weber's home that are right in that area, within a city block of him, or even less, right?
But you don't access those from that road.
Right. But there are other homes back there.
Yeah, but they're not affected by that drive or that gate.
There's another route into Brad Weber's home, right?
A what?
Are you aware of a second route into his home?
Yeah. He said he's got one where he drives like around a cornfield and it's not a road, it's a dirt trail.
Okay, I have nothing else.
Do you know how many vans travel down the road his drive connects to?
I do not.
Mr. McClelland?
No questions, Judge.
Mr. Rossi?
None.
All right. Thank you, Master Trooper. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
May counsel and I approach, please, for a discussion over here.
Sidebar conference conducted.
Okay. So we have States Exhibit 289, the Google search. We have the photographs, 306 to 309.
Did you? I missed the first part of that. I emailed. I don't have the ability to print the case to you, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got it. So let's take up the inaudible, okay. Okay.
I'm satisfied that the court used the case law that we cited.
Okay. Mr. McClelland, regarding that.
I think the foundation is they have to show that they haven't been altered, and the case that they cited, Your Honor, was in premises liability case. There was a photograph, the woman fell in snow on like in February.
In that case, correct.
Yeah. And then, there was a photograph taken in March, but the court said that the foundation was laid because the testimony was that March photograph was a fair and accurate representation of the condition on the day that she fell. So what we're looking at here is what Rick Allen looked like on February 13th, 2017, and there's no testimony or anything that he looked any of these pictures are what he looked like on February 13th, 2017. And to the extent that he may gained weight, his hair grew out, and he may then maybe looked more like Bridge Guy, that is unfairly prejudicial, confusing, and misleading.
There's no dates on those, right?
There's no dates. Our position would be that's a phone extraction of Richard Allen's phone. That's why that's the relevance. I think they're relevant to show the jury what Richard Allen looked like. I don't have a problem with letting the jury know we don't know what dates these are from, and that's a part of our case to explain that, to look at the pictures and say, look, this is not from the date and the time. We're trying to admit them to show the jury what he looks like, inaudible.
Well, how's that relevant to anything?
You have to, I'm not gonna, inaudible, so I'll sustain the objection. Then, we have the Google search.
Yeah, we've laid our hands on that, as well.
Okay.
I did give them some additional information, showed Ms. Auger, and I'm gonna show you, Judge, inaudible, with the court.
I'm a.
Over the lunch break.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. Tell me if you can.
So, Judge, if you go to this page, it talks about what was given.
Affirmative response.
And specifically the Fujack, and there's a list of hash marks, which are this is the list of, inaudible, but Fujack is the home, inaudible, and then I can't make it out.
Okay.
And then, I can't right there. So that's.
Yeah, it's on each one of them.
Yes. And so what we did, when they provided this to us, they gave it to us in hard copies of documents and I shared everything in file, whatever we got, stuff from the videos and the activity log and searches.
And the list.
Yes, and that is copied and pasted from that file, so I showed her that after lunch.
Okay.
I move for inaudible certification.
For that.
Yes.
So our other objection is really, again, 404, 403, to the extent that there was an internet search. I didn't bring my materials up, Your Honor, about a search for a movie about a man being held against his will. Man held hostage by teen. I mean, to the extent that they're trying to show that, that he kidnapped them and then searched about, it's just very prejudicial and misleading and confusing. And again, I think that they still have to show that he was the only person with access to that account.
And I'm familiar with the case you cited.
Okay.
Since I was the trial judge.
I was wondering, yeah.
And that was, I excluded it based on 412, Rape Shield. It had nothing to do with who had access or who didn't have access. And at this point, the only evidence before the court is that the holder of the account is Richard Allen, and he's the one who had access, so I'm gonna admit 289 over objection based on weight, not admissibility. And are we ready to continue?
Yes, Judge.
Do you want to publish this?
Yes, Judge. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So we'll do this the record and then you can publish.
So is it just admitted under the affidavit and his search?
Oh, the copies are downstairs.
Yeah, they've got the files.
Just that we're just doing the search, this part.
Yes, just that part. Not the whole thing.
This is the only thing that they're gonna publish.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right. So just so the record is clear, earlier, the state moved to admit 306, 307, 308, and 309, which are photographs of the defendant. The defendant has objected to those, and based on there's no timestamp, there's no authentication, I'm gonna sustain the defendant's objection, and will not admit 306 through 309. And Jody will keep those with the other exhibits that have not been admitted. We then had the opportunity to discuss State's Exhibit 289, which was the Google search history for the account. The defendant objected. Over the defendant's objection, I'll admit State's Exhibit 289, and you may publish that.
Judge, I'm retrieving those from my office or.
Okay. So you're gonna publish with copies?
Yes. We've made copies, I brought the.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I brought the photos up and not that, and so I.
Okay.
Gonna retrieve those, and then I'll publish those to the jury, hopefully momentarily, Judge. Judge, I've retrieved those. May I?
You may.
Thank you. Just to verify, did everybody get the copies? Okay.
All right, Mr. McClelland, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. At this point, the state of Indiana would rest. The state of Indiana rests.
Is the defendant ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
You may call your first witness.
Call Cheyenne Mill. May I have a second, Your Honor?
Witness sworn.
May I, Judge?
You may.
Thank you. What's your name?